At the same time, the government want to remove our right to jury trials for all but the most serious of cases, saying that somehow the system cannot possibly cope with facilitating the 800-year-old right it was designed around. They've quietly crept out data, showing sickness among CPS and Ministry of Justice staff is soaring. But rather than deal with that, it seems they'd prefer to remove our rights instead.
First, I will create new swift courts within the Crown Court with a judge alone deciding verdicts in triable either way cases with a likely sentence of 3 years or less.
The argument that the system is overwhelmed will appear to many similar to the argument made during COVID. Save the NHS by effectively giving up your right to use it, locking yourself indoors for fear of needing medical treatment. Now we're told we must forfeit our right to a jury trial in order to safeguard the court system.
He found juries, and I quote, act as a filter for prejudice. But now he's become Justice Secretary, he's scrapping the very institution he once lauded. Which is it? Will the real David Lammy please stand up?
David Lammy says he's determined to clear the backlog.
This is a problem that has taken years to build up. It will take years to fix. The changes I'm proposing will require legislation that will take time to implement. Our investment will also need time to have an effect. But we are pulling every possible lever to move in a positive direction, and my ambition for the backlog to start coming down by the end of this Parliament remains.
He says the reforms are about prioritising victims.
Everything I'm announcing today is about centring victims in our criminal justice system. It is unacceptable that if you are raped in our country tonight, that you might be waiting until 2028, 2029 for a hearing. And I'm determined to do something about it.
Lammy appears to believe the only way to safeguard justice is to remove juries. But there might be another way, and here is the data. Sickness had already been steadily falling up to and during COVID. Afterwards, it shot up. Under the Tories, some progress had been made up to 2024 to get this falling again. Under Labour, sickness has gone up to a point where the average civil service employee is taking more than 8 days off per year. We can see this across departments, and up at the top are Ministry of Justice and CPS staff. Last year at the MOJ they were having 2 weeks off, now it's even more. Absence at the CPS has gone from over 7 days on average to 8. The trend is seen among all pay grades, but those on the lowest pay are taking the most sick time. Sickness is up among all age groups, but the millennials, 30 to 39-year-olds, are taking more time off than those aged 40 to 49. Usually, sickness correlates with age, and that trend holds true in terms of time off each employee takes sick, but the older groups are less likely to take any sick days at all. Less than half of the over 60s took any sick days, and half of those aged between 40 and 59 did. More than half of the under 39s took sick days last year. Can they really be sicker than the over 60s? When we look at why civil servants are calling in sick, the data's striking, dwarfing all other reasons, with 47.1% of sicknesses is down to mental health. The reality of these rates of sickness will be high levels of disruption. With around half of staff taking sickness, it's reasonable to assume there will be teams that are always short of staff. If a judge takes a week off sick per se, when he comes back his clerk is off for a week, or the barrister is sick, that prolongs the backlog even more. Unfortunately, we can't see whether it's down to anxiety, ADHD or more serious conditions, but it's rising, just as claims for sickness benefits are. Now, would a private business cut back its operations to the detriment of its customers and its bottom line, or tackle these soaring rates of sickness? Many Brits will expect the government to cut back the sick pay and help their staff back into work before even thinking about reducing our access to jury trials. The government think it's wrong to draw a link between staff sickness and jury changes, but many will draw links between staff sickness and the court backlog, which the Justice Secretary claims he's aiming to reduce. A government spokesman said, We are rewiring the state and building an agile, productive civil service that delivers for working people. The data shows central government has the same sickness rates as the private sector, and we have a range of tools to ensure our staff remain in work and can return to work as quickly as possible following ill health. I'm Nick Dunning. This is GB News Originals. Thank you for watching.
There's nothing more important than keeping your money and your identity safe online. And with so many VPN options available, choosing the right one can be pretty daunting. But this video's sponsor, ExpressVPN, is making the choice easier for GB News viewers. ExpressVPN is offering up to 75% off, plus 4 extra months free. That's top-level security from just £2.49 a month, and you're covered by their 30-day money-back guarantee. So just click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code now. Remember, when you're online, you are often sharing personal data, so hackers can steal your information, your passwords, your photos, and your bank details in just seconds. But ExpressVPN encrypts your connection, making it virtually impossible for hackers to access your personal information. So why choose ExpressVPN? Well, it couldn't be easier to use. With just one click, you are protected. And ExpressVPN uses military-grade AES 256 encryption, which is the same standard trusted by the US government to guard their classified information. With their new tiered plans, you can protect up to 14 devices at once and manage passwords securely. Live chat support is available 24/7, and it typically connects you in under a minute with a real person. Click the link in this video's description or scan the QR code to get up to 75% off ExpressVPN, plus 4 months extra for free. Start protecting yourself today with ExpressVPN.
Welcome back to State of the Nation. I'm sorry I wasn't with you yesterday. I was addressing the Free Speech Union at a dinner as we face a mighty assault on our liberties. Today, the Lord Chancellor announced that the government will remove jury trials for offences carrying a sentence of under 3 years.
First, I will create new Swift courts within the Crown Court with a judge alone deciding verdicts in triable either way cases with a likely sentence of 3 years or less, as Sir Brian recommends. Sir Brian estimates that they will deliver justice at least 20% faster than jury trials.
The decision is being presented as a pragmatic means to clear backlogs in the judicial system and delays in the Crown Court. But the principle of trial by jury is crucial in a free society. Jury trials are amongst the oldest and most effective checks on state power. Britain is governed by consent. When the government pursues an aggressive or overzealous prosecution, the jury of 12 can prevent totalitarianism. Juries can moderate the state. They can refuse to convict when the law is being applied unjustly. Think of the Seven Bishops case in 1688, a landmark trial in which a jury acquitted 7 Anglican bishops accused of seditious libel for petitioning King James II, becoming a public rejection of royal absolutism and, interestingly, leading directly to the Glorious Revolution. Leading nobles wrote to invite William of Orange over on the day the acquittal was announced. So the importance of the jury system in our constitution is hard to overstate. The jury acquitted not only because the Crown wanted it not to, but because the people saw the wider context. That is what the government is removing whenever a government wants more control. It doesn't announce it openly, but it quietly erodes the mechanisms that limit it. The latest example is, of course, digital ID cards. What the state can track, it can tax. What it can identify, it can monitor. And when you can monitor people, it becomes easier to prosecute them without the tiresome inconvenience of a jury. Actions that were once beyond state power become possible. That is how free societies become unfree, not in one leap, but by the erosion of the institutions that stand between the citizen and the state. This is a free speech issue. The judiciary doesn't much like being scrutinised. The Lord Chief Justice moaned like a moaning Minnie when she was criticised by the Leader of the Opposition and the Prime Minister earlier this year. And they hide behind privacy protections that they created. And judges should be open to criticism. They're insulated from the public and cannot be trusted or relied on to hold the state to account. One of the founding fathers of the United States, Benjamin Franklin, said, "Those who would give up essential liberty to purchase a little temporary safety deserve neither liberty nor safety." And the blob is, of course, trying to hide behind convenience. We will be told that jury trials are slow, bothersome, and that some shortening of the process makes things simpler and easier. But convenience is not constitutionally correct. It's ludicrous to remove ancient safeguards because the government of the day finds them inconvenient and it's too incompetent to make sure trials happen in a timely way. We actually need more juries, not fewer. We need more decisions made by citizens, not more power in the hands of lefty judges. And we don't need judges protected by privacy laws that distance them from the public. The danger is that once these changes become normal and we accept that the state can track, identify and prosecute more easily, these fundamental freedoms are not easily won back. The erosion of liberty, is not sudden but incremental. Removing trial by jury is the start of something more worrying. As always, let me know what you think.